he'll kill himself, as you asked. But given the nature of what's been alleged against him, and we should add that he was arrested in July on those sex trafficking charges, but he has long been alleged to have supplied young girls to influential men in his social circle. In fact, just on Friday, thousands of legal documents were unsealed in a case against one of his associates, which alleged that he had supplied young girls to various influential people. Actually, there was a quote which I just saw, in fact, that was in one of those documents, which said that from many powerful men, including numerous prominent American politicians, business executives, foreign presidents, a well-known prime minister, and other world leaders. That's a quote from some of the legal documents that were unsealed on Friday in a case against one of his associates, actually the daughter of the tycoon Robert Maxwell, who was alleged to have procured these girls for Epstein and his associates and his friends. So there's all this swirling around. So that's why it has quite so much attention. And you can imagine, yes, the conspiracy theories are running rife right now on social media.
Where does this leave the legal process then, Shihab?
Well, obviously the criminal process ends. There's no one to prosecute. The civil process should continue. So now there are questions as to, well, what happens? What sort of form will that take? What happens to all the evidence? When he was arrested in July and his mansion seized, a great deal of information was seized from his private safes and things like that, CDs of pictures, documents. So there are questions as to whether this now means, actually, that there's no one now to contest what happens to that information. That information can now be used in civil suits because no one has the standing to challenge its use. Epstein is gone. So that could be potentially interesting. Of course, there are other conspiracy theories. Well, there are conspiracy theories right now that this is all a bid to silence the whole process, and so the information will never be revealed as to exactly what he did. But that's still up in the air right now. We don't really know what happens to the information. I think that's the main reason, I think, why everyone is so interested, is as a result of actually a previous plea deal in 2007, I think it was, which was a kind of rather odd plea deal. He faced very similar charges that could have put him away for life, but he negotiated a plea deal which made all of that information that had been gathered by prosecutors then classified. It had sort of put it all away. In fact, Donald Trump's Labor Secretary at the time was the prosecutor in Florida who negotiated that deal. He had to resign when the terms of that deal were publicized. So now the question is, will we ever know the truth? There are so many questions. We really don't know how he made his money, if he really was a billionaire, and indeed what his relationship to all of his friends were. So the question is whether that information will now finally come to light now that he is dead.
A lot of questions then left to be answered then, indeed. Shihab Rattansi there from Washington, D.C. A fuel tanker has exploded in Tanzania.